Hi, my name is Beer, and let's start with the Callisto Protocol, Deluxe Edition. Everyone saw how the game's hype train crashed into the wall. That was a really brutal sight. On release date, the game flopped like many games nowadays. The promise we got of the title that will decrown Dead Space was never fulfilled. But hey, this is not a bad game in general. In my opinion, it's just not worth the price they are selling it for. 60 euros is a lot of money for a game like that, and people say that the right price would be something around 30. And now the deal is even better. So it seems that if you ever wanted to try the Callisto Protocol but was discouraged by the price and reviews, this humble deal is something you may want to check out. The game itself is a narrative-driven, third-person survival horror game set 300 years in the future. You will take on the role of Jacob Lee, a victim of fate thrown into the Black Iron Prison, a maximum security penitentiary located on Jupiter's moon, Callisto. But your awesome involuntary vacation was disrupted when other inmates began transforming into monstrous creatures, so you have to survive and in the process uncover the secret behind all this chaos. Satisfactory. Here you will defeat nature by building massive factories everywhere, expand wherever and however you want, without any annoying regulations we have here on Earth, because you are not on Earth anymore. All those animals and plants that live here are scientifically unimportant. They live to serve you and your factory. Here you'll find about 30 square kilometers, which is about 11 square miles of terrain filled with unique flora and fauna. You can recycle everything and make factories out of them. Build beautiful metal constructions instead of ugly nature, cover the whole surface of the planet with your elegant conveyor belts and train tracks. Make that pathetic natural habitat disappear and make beauty instead. Be a true hero of the industrial era. Monster Hunter World. He'll take on the role of a hunter and slay ferocious monsters in a living ecosystem, where you can use the landscape and its diverse inhabitants to get the upper hand. You can hunt alone or in co-op with up to 3 other players, and use materials collected from fallen foes to craft new gear. There are 14 different weapons at your disposal, each with its own unique characteristics and styles of attack. Many hunters acquire proficiency in multiple types, while others prefer to attain mastery of one. Monster Hunter World has 87% of positive reviews on Steam, left by more than 200,000 players. Incredible achievement. Valheim. Most of us can remember the hype it caused on release date, and the hype is well deserved. This game is really a masterpiece with a review score never, at least on Steam, never below 90%. It may scare you that the game is still in early access after all those years, but if you focus on the main objectives only, it will still provide you with more than 70 hours of gameplay. And in general, Valheim is a brutal exploration and survival game for 1 to 10 players, set in a procedurally generated world inspired by Norse mythology. You will craft powerful weapons, construct longhouses, grow your balls and slay mighty foes to prove yourself to Odin. Age of Wonders 4. At first this game may look really complex. It is filled with tens or even hundreds of various tiny statistics, resources, skills, traits and so on, and that can be really overwhelming. But when I played it, I remember the golden rule of any game. Just play it as you can and learn along the way. And you know, it worked. It's actually not that complex and explanations here are great. Also, a very cool thing here is that immediately after you launch the game you are provided with the opportunity to create your own faction. Here you can create cannibal moles or necromancer frogs, orcs of light, or anything you can imagine and officially name them as well. To be short, you can break stereotypes as you like. The combat, of course, is the most fun and most interesting thing in the game. Age of Wonders 4 has an incredible amount of different units made with this cool faction creation tool, from fire gremlins to holy moles with wings and nimbuses. Yeah, holy moly is actually here. Battle arenas are gorgeous as well. The design is really pretty and eye-catching. Most of them are filled with some shining details that create this magical atmosphere in which many things die. This is a great game, especially if you like the previous parts or if you are a fan of Heroes of Might and Magic. Red Dead Redemption 2. Here you are an outlaw on the run, with federal agents and the best bounty hunters in the nation massing on your heels. You and your gang must rob, steal and fight your way across the heartland of America in order to survive. Well, the main story is all about that, but honestly all you will do here is free ride your horse all over the map, do casual quests for the NPCs you encounter, and will be occasionally killed by a bear. There is an urban myth that if you stay completely still in the game, the bear will leave you alone. I never tested that. I usually panic, shoot the bear to the leg or a butt, and, you know, then I die. This game is serious, but it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's full of really funny unexpected events and situations. On the other hand, the story is decent and some of your actions have serious consequences. Like, you know, shooting a bear to a butt will have consequences of your death. Main story will take about 50 hours from your boring life, and all the online content can take 10 times more. You know, those are the same creators as of GTA games. They really know how to pin your attention for a long time, so be sure you have it. Nier Automata. I usually don't feature anime-like titles in my channel, because here all the men look like women and all the women look like 12-year-olds. That is some weird fetish I don't share with anyone. But this is an exceptionally good game and I can't ignore it. So the game tells the story of 3 androids and their battle to reclaim the machine-driven dystopia overrun by powerful automatons. Here humanity has been driven from Earth by mechanical beings from another world. In a final effort to take back the planet, the human resistance sends a force of android soldiers to destroy the invaders, and you are in control of them. The combat here is beyond fluid. You can change between ranged and melee, perform high-speed battle actions, and so on. Also, it has 26 endings. If you are into that stuff, you can replay the game almost indefinitely till you get them all. That's if you are some kind of a masochist. I don't judge. Slay the Spire. More than 100,000 players are recommending this game for you, and so do I. Slay the Spire is a fuse of card games and roguelike titles. Here you can craft a unique deck, encounter bizarre creatures, and discover relics of immense power while trying to climb up the ladder. Game features a dynamic deck building, so assemble your deck wisely. Discover hundreds of cards to add to your deck with each attempt at climbing the spire. Select cards that work together to efficiently dispatch foes and reach the top. People on Steam are talking that Slay the Spire is really addictive, and yeah, I'm seeing a lot of hours played in the comment section. 200 is quite a casual number here, so another game that will keep your virginity safe and sound for a long time. Hollow Knight. You'll explore twisting caverns, ancient cities and deadly wastes, encounter battle-tainted creatures, befriend bizarre bugs and solve ancient mysteries at the kingdom's heart. Game is hard and is often compared to Dark Souls. Keep that in mind before you fall in love with those lovely graphics. They are quite deadly. Although if you don't like bugs, you will get your chance to kill a few hundred of them, or be killed by them. Yeah, that is more likely. There are a lot of bug-like different creatures infesting these lands, and only you can exterminate them with your gaming skills. There are also plenty of good bugs as well, so I don't know what this game tries to teach us. I guess be friends with friends and be enemies with enemies.
Wisdom, yeah.
Resident Evil 4. 6 years have passed since the biological disaster in Raccoon City. You are one of the survivors of the incident, and you have been sent to rescue the president's kidnapped daughter. You track her to a secluded European village where there is something terribly wrong with the locals. They all put pineapple into potato salad. I'm kidding, of course, nothing that horrifying. Those people are just crazy. You know, they want to kill you, mutilate your body, and then do something else with it. What a nice place to be, you know? So you will be living this nightmare and you will do your best trying to survive. People are saying that after playing Resident Evil 2 Remake, it was hard to hope that anything can be that level of awesomeness, but Resident Evil 4 does miracles. It is worth your money on sale, off sale, in between sales, in between boobies.
Wait, what?
Shut up. Players are saying that this remake is just excellent, and you know, I can only agree, this game is awesome. Remnant 2. This is the sequel to Remnant from the Ashes, best known as Dark Souls with guns. The game pits survivors of humanity against new deadly creatures and godlike bosses across beautiful but menacing worlds. Here you can travel alone or with friends as a team and explore strange new worlds and beyond, overrun by mythical creatures while trying to stay alive. There are multiple worlds to explore with different types of creatures, weapons and items. Game has branching quest lines, augments, crafting and loot rewards that will test the resolve of even the most hardened players in dynamically generated dungeons and areas. Most of the players are saying that the second part is better than the first one, meaning that developers learned from their past mistakes and made an actually awesome game. Against the Storm. The game was just released, that's why the discount is not as big as I want it to be, but it has 96% of positive review score, so let's not be afraid of the word masterpiece. This is a roguelite city builder set in a gloomy fantasy world. Artistically, this is one of the coolest RTS city builder games I have seen lately, except one thing, here it never stops raining. And I hate rain. In my country, Lithuania, rain is always cold. Even in the summer and in any other season, it feels like an ice needle piercing my puny body straight to the bone. Also, I wear glasses, so it's a thing that's really hard to love. Anyway, here you are, a pioneer sent into the wilds to establish and manage new settlements inhabited by smart beavers, lizards, and humans. Your goal is to survive long enough and gather the valuable resources necessary to rebuild and upgrade your city. It's the only safe haven against the Blightstorm, a vile cycle of destruction ravaging everything in its path. No Man's Sky. The game was released 7 years ago and it flopped like no game has ever flopped before. Despite that, developers scooped their shattered dignity and textures together and molded it into a great game. No Man's Sky is a live project. Updates are constant, the game is getting better and better every year. They are serious about this game and that's why the price never goes below 50%. You know, they have to pay salaries to all the people updating the game, so they could buy delicious ingredients for the best potato salad. The game itself is an open-world galaxy sim where you craft and build stuff in order to survive. It's one of the best games of the genre, so if you are up for the adventure, don't overthink it. Medieval Dynasty. Here you take on the role of a young man who has fled from war and wants to take his fate in his own hands. From being alone, inexperienced and poor, he will develop into a master of many skills, a leader of community and the founder of a prosperous dynasty. Dynasty which is meant to last and prosper for generations to come. So you can create a tiny medieval North Korea for yourself and thrive, while your friends eat grass. You will defend against wild animals, hunt for food, gather resources, craft equipment, build yourself a house and become a founder of a whole village. Tough winters and unexpected events will challenge your skills and dexterity as you strive to build your own legacy. One of the coolest things for me here is the entire year cycle, with 4 seasons and realistic wildlife that really helps with the immersion. Deep Rock Galactic. This is a 1 to 4 players first-person shooter featuring badass space dwarfs and 100% destructible environments. Here you can play alone or work together with other players as a team to dig, explore and fight your way through a massive cave system filled with hordes of deadly enemies and valuable resources. Pick some powerful guns like flamethrowers, Gatling guns, portable platform launchers, and show those puny aliens who's the boss. Dwarfs may be small, but they are really powerful. We in Lithuania have a saying,
Neugis or smoogies.
Meaning not the size, but the punch is what really matters. And your punch is really, you know, probably weak in real world, but really impactful for the alien population in these dangerous caves. People on Steam are talking that there is no reason not to play this game, and I have to agree. Show those monsters the true meaning of extinction.
Rock and stone, baby.
GTFO. This is a 4-player cooperative game. Good news for you, since you are obviously short of friends, the vacuum of your life can be filled with bots here. Playing with them can be irritating at first, but when you learn their mechanics, it's actually quite fun.
Said every lonely person ever.
Oh, shut up. Of course, game developers still recommend playing with real people since the game requires a level of communication and tactical combat, and a good strategy is necessary to win the game. Many of the creatures of GTFO are suspended in state of hibernation, so light, noise and vibrations can easily wake these sleepers up. Better leave your multi-purpose noisy vibrating flashlight at home, so if one of the creatures knows you are there, they all know. Be cautious when deciding on shooting. This game will truly test your patience, since it is a hardcore shooter and it doesn't have a difficulty setting. Although despite the fact that the graphics and atmosphere are amazing, GTFO can become quite repetitive rather quickly. Evil West. This is some sweet hack-and-slash action. Here you will play as a cowboy vampire hunter and, you know, hunt some evil along your way to salvation. Well, probably not. No salvation for you. I just said that because it sounds cool. Here you can battle alone or with a friend as you go through the land engulfed by myths and legends retold within the Wild West universe. You can evolve perks, upgrade your tools and weapons to make even more carnage, and fight through the story-driven campaign to make America free of vampires again. People on Steam are saying that the game is dumb and fun. It has a cheesy plot and cowboys punching vampires with electricity and flamethrowers. That is not what you see every day. What is the actual genre of that? Outer Wilds. It was named Game of the Year 2019 by Giant Bomb, Polygon, Eurogamer and The Guardian, so that alone should grab your attention. If it grabs something else or somewhere else, call the police. Here you are, the newest recruit of the Outer Wilds Ventures, a space program searching for answers in a strange, constantly evolving solar system. You will have to find what lurks in the heart of the ominous Dark Bramble. Who built the alien city on the moon? Well, obviously aliens, but you know what I mean. Can the endless time loop be stopped? overlooked? And why is potato salad so delicious? Answers await you in the most dangerous reaches of space. Game has overwhelmingly positive reviews, so you can't go wrong with this one. Fallout 4. Here you can play from first or third person perspective. You can take items that lie around and roam across a big open world in search of adventure, absolutely ignoring the main quest and story. So basically it evokes, at least for me it did, the same feeling of freedom and exploration as the Elder Scrolls games. The main difference, of course, is the setting. Fallout 4 is a post-apocalyptic sci-fi game. It's filled with mutants and creepy facilities to explore. You can also join various factions, and that will immensely influence the outcome of the story. Sadly, they don't have a potato salad faction you could join. That is a shame.
Smithies, are they booing me?
No, they're saying boo earns, boo earns.
The game, along with the third Fallout game, has only one really annoying feature. In both cases, I finished the game thinking that I have like 10 or more hours of gameplay left, and it ended absolutely unexpectedly and way too fast. So if you decide to play Fallout 4, keep that in mind. Roam around, do some side quests, do not rush the story. All three games, I mean third Fallout, Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 4 are great games. You have all my recommendations. Aliens Dark Descent. In this tactical real-time strategy, you will command a squad of hardened colonial marines to stop a terrifying xenomorph outbreak on a distant, unwelcoming planet. You will lead your soldiers in real-time combat against iconic xenomorphs, rogue operatives from devious Wayland Yutani Corporation, and a host of horrifying creatures new to the Alien franchise. So here you are, the commander, and soldiers are your weapon. With their help, you will infiltrate large open levels and annihilate enemies with your squad. Tread carefully, as your foes will adapt their tactics to your actions. Monsters will be hunting you down, and the death here is permanent. You know, like the hunger of your cat, or the noises your neighbors make. So if you have a handsome soldier you don't want to lose, you might want to put it behind the others. Although be warned that the aliens can ambush you from behind as well. Dark Descent is an original story filled with iconic xenomorph creatures, ranging from facehuggers to Praetorians, alien queens, and many more. Dark Descent has around 90% of positive reviews, and people on Steam are saying that this is the perfect game for Alien Universe fans, and after the isolation, it's probably the best game about xenomorphs. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Here you'll embark on an epic adventure full of whimsy, wonder, and high-powered weaponry. Bullets, magic, and broadswords collide across this chaotic fantasy world brought to life by the unpredictable Tiny Tina, which is your disorderly guide through this realm where rules rarely apply. You will explore a vast overworld spanning majestic cities, dank mushroom forests, and epic fortresses. You can choose your own multi-class hero and loot, shoot, slash, and cast your way through outlandish monsters and loot-filled dungeons. Take on a quest to stop the tyrannical Dragon Lord and show everyone who's the real boss is. Well, as always, probably not you. You can play it alone or co-op with a friend. Chaotic Great Edition includes full game and additional Bud Stallion pack, Blight Collar class, 4 dungeons with new bosses, loot and environments, and Dragon Lord pack bonus content. Although it has mostly positive review score on Steam, so if you are not made of money, I suggest you put the game into your wishlist and wait for a bigger discount. Dredge. So the setting of fishing is nothing that I actually consider a fun thing, but Dredge is not just a fishing game, it's a fishing game with a twist. After dark it becomes a Lovecraftian fishing game. The world around you is teeming with creatures from the void, and when the night sets in, our worlds collide and cosmic horrors enter our realm. Not as scary as your ex-mother-in-law, but still terrifying things. So ideally you want to return to a harbor before the night sets in, so you won't become a dinner for some malevolent demigod of the depths. You can also dock in some safe location and sleep during the night. Of course, it is easier said than done, because the game uses a very cool time management mechanic. If you do nothing, time doesn't move. Like for real, if you just swing on the waves and admire the horizon, you can stay like this forever. But when you start sailing, the timer starts ticking, and at 6 PM Lovecraftian madness starts to settle in. This is a wonderful and honestly kinda relaxing game. Well, except when you go into mangroves. Oh, it's not relaxing at all. Anyway, the game is absolutely 10 cold beers out of 10. A must play. Monster Hunter Rise. This is originally a Nintendo Switch game released back in 2021. Now we have this action-soaked game on Steam as well, and this version is obviously upgraded to meet our expectations. You will rise to the challenge and become a hunter, explore brand new maps and use a variety of weapons to take down fearsome monsters. That's what developers say, but I would change the word fearsome to airy-fairy, because those monsters are anything but fearsome. Although they are beautiful, I can't deny that. Each monster you hunt will provide materials that allow you to create new weapons and ammo. You can also upgrade your existing gear so you can go back on the field and hunt even more airier and fairier monsters and earn even better rewards. Of course, all of that is presented in 4K resolution with ultra-wide monitor support and unlocked frame rate. Even with a discount, the game is a bit expensive, but you can try the free demo version on Steam. Subnautica. When I first tried to play Subnautica, I had some mixed feelings. I don't really like to craft things in games. Well, I do, but only when it's not the main way to obtain things in general. And all that coral and fish gathering was really boring for me. I wanted to explore, and the game prevented me from doing that because I had no means of diving into the depths, and if I tried, I always died. So for me it took about 2 actual years to get all the equipment I needed for exploring. I can only imagine that some kid can do that in a day or so, but that's not the way for me. I got bored really quickly every time I turned the game on. But that boredom was eradicated one day when I found some really interesting things deep below that, I couldn't reach. So I finally understood why this game was so hard to play for me. It gave me no motivation to proceed. And then when I finally found one, Subnautica transformed into a beautiful world. So addicting that in a week I spent more time here than in the past 2 years. And I continue to do that for weeks to come. So for all the new players, just carry on with that boring part and you will be rewarded. I can without a doubt say that this game is 10 coldest beers out of 10. You have all my recommendations. Although keep in mind that even if it looks so colorful and pretty, it has a lot of horror elements and is not meant for kids. Blasphemous 2. Awakened in a strange new land and displaced from your final resting place, you thrust back into the endless cycle of life, death and resurrection. There is no other option than to explore this perilous new world and uncover its long-forgotten secrets. There is nothing game-changing or very innovative in the second part of the Blasphemous, but you know the rule. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Your journey starts anew in a series of enchantingly grotesque landscapes, oozing gothic charm and littered with unforgiving traps. How you tackle the labyrinthian world remains at your discretion. There is no wrong turn to be made, only scores to settle. Taking down your enemies won't be easy, but the game is offering more chances to customize and improve your skill set, along with several new unique weapons to wield, so victory might just be within your grasp, but probably not. Control Ultimate Edition. A corruptive presence has invaded the Federal Bureau of Control, and only you have the power to stop it. The world around you is now your weapon in an epic fight to annihilate an ominous enemy across the deep and unpredictable environments. Containment has failed, humanity is at stake, so it's time to kick some paranormal ass. SCP vibes are really strong here. To be fair, this game feels like you are in a dream all the time. Well, nightmare to be exact, because everything is changing all the time and not for good. The game is not scary, but it's ominous, that's for sure. People on Steam are saying that the story is very good, the game itself is out of the ordinary and it has some really cool puzzles to solve. So a bit of everything for everyone. And now thank you for watching, and don't forget that in my channel you can find hundreds of videos like that with new ones released almost every day. Have a nice day and I'll see you next time. Bye.